MK4, Outlander, Gambler 500, built it with the team. MK4, Outlander, built it on a budget. Gambler 500, MK4, Outlander. What you're gonna do, we're gonna lift it, gonna jump it, gonna take it down to Oregon and jump it. MK4, Outlander, built it on a budget. Gambler 500, K4, Outlander. So this is the MK4 Outlander, currently now residing in its new resting spot until we lift it, put new brakes on it, strip the interior, and get that engine running beautiful. So you guys saw pretty much a brief introduction of the car, what it looks like and how it sits. So the goal here is to give this car a 2-inch to almost a 3-inch lift, get some meaty off-road tires on it, and fix the motor and refresh everything that's engine wise besides touching the motor. We're not going to be messing with the actual motor itself, just everything internally, because it has a nasty exhaust leak, and the EGR system is actually, I think, failing on it. It's not a big deal. We can fix it. It's not very expensive to fix. So on this episode of PincheAls Garage, let's get to work, because we're going to break it, we're going to fix and repeat. So what we're going to do today is get the car on jack stands front and back. Once that's on jack stands, we're going to get the wheels off and get ready to pull the whole entire suspension, get the brake system removed, because we got to replace all the brakes on this car. Once we get that going, the next process will be when the other guys start getting here and showing up to help us do this, which you guys get to meet the team Gambler. They're gonna be stripping out the interior and helping me finish up everything on the sides. Now, the DIY here is actually building the suspension. We're not gonna show you how to remove the suspension. I have already DIYs on my channel for that, so you're not going to see anything like that. Same with the interior. I have DIYs on removing the interior. What we're going to be showing you is what we're going to be adding to the car. Those are going to be your DIYs, and we're going to give you part numbers. But today we're just going to strip everything down, and we're going to explain everything as we work on what's going on and what's happening during this build. You guys are going to get a preview of it. You guys get to see everything from beginning to end, and let's see how it works out. So let's get to work. Now that we have the car in the air, we're going to show you all the fun little problems that the car has now. So number one, brakes. You guys can see there's no more pad on that. It's almost gone. Bushings are actually not bad. This actually has R32 bushings installed on it. Not that bad. You see here the tie rods though, they're shot as well. You see here, you see a lot of fluid on here on the actual little dust cover on here. That means the shocks are gone as well. So good thing we have all this right here ready to get replaced. We also are getting new pads and rotors. We were going to get new GTI pads, but I forgot that diesels require a replacement spindle if you want to go to GTI calipers and brakes. So unfortunately that swap is now a dream, since spindles are not cheap, so we're not going to go that route, unfortunately. But for the moment, looks like not very much. Everything else looks pretty dang clean. Let's go look in the back. Now the back's another story. So looks like the brake line has broken off in here. It's not that bad, but you guys can see this is actually supposed to be following this little trail down here. We have to figure out what happened there, try to get that fixed. You'll see here the brake pad is actually to the metal and it's wearing down the rotor. What's funny, you see this right here? That's actually being worn down really bad. That has to get repaired. So these calipers are going to have to get removed, cleaned up, inspect it, make sure the pistons aren't overheated and not seized, because if not, the brakes are not going to work properly. So that's one important thing we're going to see. You see down here, you see some oil stains right there. Again, that's a shock failed, so that's going to have to get replaced. Obviously, we're doing all of that as part of the DIY. Down over here in the back, this is a bushing that no one likes to replace because it requires a lot of work. Is this guy right here, the rear beam, and that's going to get replaced as well. So as it is right now, that's all on the left side. That's just the driver's side. I still didn't even factor in all the grime that's down in here in this quarter panel down here. Ew, all that nasty stuff has to come out. Clean that up. Since we're gonna make our way over to the passenger side, currently there's a couple parts that need to get replaced on this side so the engine runs properly. All the vacuum lines need to be replaced. They are rotting, like 100% rotting. My guess, this engine's never been maintained, so we're gonna take care of that this week. Okay. I do need a new EGR pipe that sits in the back. It cracked. It actually cracked, so that's not bad, but everything else looks pretty decent. Not 100% sure yet, but everything else, the car still fires right up, so I'm not complaining about that. We're going to be getting rid of the wiper reservoir. We're going to get relocating the battery in the trunk, save some weight up in front. Again, we're going to chop up this bumper to fit a new custom bumper up in front we're going to use. So that's not bad for the engine bay, not very much. So we're going to work our way down to the passenger side now and see what needs to be replaced. The brake pads actually have an odd wear. These actually have more meat than the other side, but again, these are going to have to get replaced. The shocks right up here, again, they have a little bit of a residue, so more than likely they're failed as well, so that's going to be replaced. It looks like the bushings are actually in good condition right over there. I don't see any rips. They're going to get replaced, but again, I don't see anything crazy bad with them at the moment, so that looks good. I don't see any bubbles on or swelling of the brake line, which is also a very good indicator that brakes are fine still. I don't see any odd fluids anywhere, so I'm pretty content with that at the moment. So we're going to work our way over to the rear passenger. Interesting. There's meat on the pad on this one. A lot of meat. That's not good. I can't figure out what happened to that. But on this side, funny, everything looks actually decent over here. I don't even see any fluid leaking through that shock. The brake line is actually intact. The bushing back here looks still decent, but not the best. But again, this is all being replaced. But what's really odd is the head looks pretty decent. That's what's really odd. So we're gonna get to work, and we're gonna show you pretty much what we bought for this car to give it a 2-inch lift, and then the 3-inch lift will come afterwards from Kerma TDI with the spacer. So let's get to work by removing the suspension first. So when it comes to removing the front suspension on these cars, first thing you need to figure out is where to put the caliper, because we're going to be removing the caliper as well. So smartest place to mount it probably would be on the sway bar, or zip tie it to like the lower control arm, but we're going to be pulling the control arm out as well, so that's kind of a not a good thing to do. So I would probably zip tie it to the back of the control arm, the sway bar. Since the sway bar is going to stay in for now, we might be removing it. We don't know how much travel we're going to have where the sway bar might need to be removed. So first things first, get the caliper removed, and then start working around your suspension after that. So we got the control arm removed, we got the caliper removed, we got the tie rod. removed. Now you see this is what we're trying to prevent. That's a failed bushing up there. It's no longer doing its job keeping the strut nice in place. So we're replacing that as well. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice stiff suspension with brand new KYBs, new springs, new strut bushings, new strut bearing. So this is gonna be a really nice firm control strut suspension, and then we're gonna put polyurethane bushings down below. So this is gonna sit nice and really firm, especially when we're gonna try to off-road this thing. We're gonna make sure the suspension sits perfect, especially when we're gonna ride the car like, you know, like we stole it pretty much. We're gonna drive it like we stole it. So now the next part is actually removing the strut and going from there. All right, so here we are, getting ready to gut this car, and the man to do it is Ian, aka Jesse. So Ian's gonna start working on the removal of the entire trunk. Pretty much we're gonna be gutting everything that is not needed in this to drop weight. The goal is to get this car as light as possible from the gross weight to whatever it's gonna turn into afterwards. So we're gonna be removing every piece of carpet in this trunk. The only thing that's going to be remaining is just the seal, and that is it. So Ian's going to get to work on that, and I'm going to get back to working on probably going to start removing the dash. Yeah, I think the dash would be a good idea to start getting going, because we're going to pull the dash out of this car too. Don't need it. Don't need a dash. And then back here, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do back here too. Yep, so let's get to work. All right, Jesse. Woo! So there's Ian right now, pulling the back out and cleaning up the back. And you can see the trunk is now completely gutted, thanks to Ian's magic. We got a lot taken out. All the carpet here, all the carpet over here, the floor, spare tire, the trunk cover, all that's gutted out now. We got license plates. So as Ian is working, I'm filming at the same time, just showing you guys progress of what we've already done so far. So right here is the shock and spring for the rear, and it's a pretty substantial difference. We might not need the spacer kit to lift it more, but don't know yet. There's Jesse, Ian, aka Jesse.
There we go.
So what we're going to be doing also, we're going to figure out how to jerry rig these, take off the door panels and jerry rig them to work. So that's going to be next. And then after that, we're going to figure out how to remove the dash and how to make everything work without a dash. So we don't need a dashboard. But yeah, stay tuned. We got a lot more going. Thanks for watching.